Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Cindy Reyes, and I'm the Financial Education Manager at the Credit Union. I want to welcome everybody to another EdFed Academy webinar. This webinar is all about our Homebuyer Concierge Program, and so we're super excited to have you all join us today. Um, I do want to set a little bit of housekeeping rules. Just wanted to let everybody know and remind everybody. Let me go ahead and make sure this is on. There we go. I want to make sure everybody can see the full screen. So I just want to remind everybody that there are some housekeeping rules. We are all muted for the duration of the webinar. We can use our Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see a Q&A little icon, and please feel free to submit some questions on there, and we're going to get to them at the end of the webinar. But I am happy and excited today to have some special guests join us to talk all about our Home Buyer Concierge Program. We are super excited about it, and so you're going to get to hear all of the details. I have with me today, I have Dania Nunez, which is our home loan sales manager, and I have Stephen Martinfee, a real estate agent who is going to be part of our program. And so they're going to go ahead and share some great information all about our program. Today in the agenda, we're going to be talking about the housing market opportunities that are existing right now. We're going to talk about the benefits from working with the Home Buyers Concierge Program. We're going to talk about what to do and how to prepare for your purchase. Also working with your dedicated realtor. What does that entail? We're also going to talk about some South Florida housing trends, which is really great since we have our realtor on the line. He's going to be able to share some housing trends that are currently happening. And at the end, of course, we're going to meet with additional experts from the credit union and be able to ask some questions that you guys all have. So we will be monitoring the Q&A. And we do have some of our team on there looking at those questions. And so you will get those answered. And we encourage you, please, to go ahead and submit those questions. So today, our workshop, really the goal of this workshop is to provide some insight to the current rate, environment and state of the South Florida housing market. Again, it's ever changing, right? Help you learn how to save time and money when shopping for your new home, working with us, right? So we are your credit union, and we're going to be that guide and that helpful resource to get you through that process. We're also going to give you access to our resources to really help you start on that journey, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and pass the floor to Dania, and she's going to go ahead and get started to talk about the post-pandemic housing market.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Cindy. It's a pleasure speaking today. Now, let's start with what the market looked like right after the pandemic. Now, during this time, inventory was extremely limited. Now, this meant that there are fewer homes available for buyers to choose from. Now, because supply was so limited, home prices really rose to historic high. Now, buyers were really facing intense competition, and there's a lot of multiple offers on the same property, and that really became the norm or the common. Now, in many cases, there was little to no room for negotiation. Buyers at that time often had to move quickly. They had to make really strong offers, accept less than favorable terms just to remain competitive. Now, that was the reality of the post-pandemic market. The good news is that today we are seeing a different environment with more opportunities and a more balanced market for buyers. So what does today's housing market look like? So compared to what post-pandemic period, buyers are starting to see more opportunities that simply just didn't exist before. There's more inventory coming onto the market, which means buyers have more options and more time to evaluate the properties. Homes are really staying in the market a little bit longer than it was before. In many areas, that's giving buyers more time to make the informed decision, really do the homework, negotiate terms, avoid the pressure that we saw when homes were really selling almost immediately. Now, while affordability is still an important factor, really rates have improved compared to last year, which is creating or helping the members with better monthly payments and opportunities for buyers. Overall, the market is becoming more balanced and increasingly favorable towards the buyers. And that's exactly where EdFed Homebuyer Concierge Program adds value. We are helping the members navigate these opportunities with the right guidance and support. This is where I'd like to introduce the Homebuyer Concierge Program. And on the Homebuyer Concierge Program, EdFed offers to all our members and non-members. This program is designated to save members not only time and money by connecting our members with an EdFed home loan specialist first, and then we introduce you to our dedicated realtor who's going to work together with you throughout this home buying process. That means members have guidance, not only in the financing part of this transaction, but also in finding the right home and navigating the transaction from start to finish. The program has really valuable benefits, and I'll mention just a couple of them. The first one is you're going to get up to $1,000 cash back at closing from EdFed, along with a rebate of 25% of the buyer's agent commission. And this really can amount to thousands of dollars in savings. In addition, there is no application fee and no intangible taxes, which really can help you reduce the overall cost of obtaining this loan. Now, overall, the Homebuyer Concierge Program is really designed to make the home buying experience efficient, affordable, and less stressful for the members. So the next slide, getting started with the program. How is this going to work? So the first step is really speaking with an EdFed home loan specialist. We're going to help you get pre-qualified, understand your budget, and determining your buying power before you do that home search. The second step is connecting you with a dedicated realtor through the Homebuyer Concierge Program. Your realtor is going to help guide you with that home search, provide local market insight, and support through the negotiations, and overall support you throughout this process. Now, the third step is moving forward with confidence. We want to know that you are assured that you are buying the right home for you, that is adding a benefit and value to you. Again, this can be savings to thousands of dollars in closings. Overall, this program helps make the home buying journey more organized, more affordable, and less stressful from start to finish. Now, on the next slide is introducing you or meet our dedicated realtor. That's another important advantage to the Homebuyer Concierge Program is access to that dedicated realtor. EdFed has partnered with a strong network of experienced real estate professionals throughout the South Florida market. They're going to bring value to the local they're going to bring their value to the local market knowledge and neighborhood insight. Now, this is going to help our members make informed decisions, negotiate with greater confidence, and guide you through this home buying process. The realtors are experienced professionals, and they understand the market. They understand, and they're going to understand or do understand the area that you're buying and work closely with you to help you keep the financing process, closing requirements, and overall transaction moving smoothly and on schedule. Now, this coordinated approach gives our members added support from both not only the lending side or your finances, but also the real estate side, creating a more seamless and less stressful experience. Now, with that, I'd like to introduce Stephen Martonfi, one of our dedicated realtor partners. And on this slide, we'll tell you a little bit about Stephen. Now, Stephen is one of our dedicated real estate partners, in our Home Buying Concierge Program. Stephen is a licensed real estate broker with the Kais Company, and he brings strong knowledge of the Miami housing market. Through the Homebuyer Concierge Program, he works closely with you as an EdFed member to help guide you through the home buying process with confidence. What also makes Stephen unique is that his background is in public service. Before entering real estate, he spent more than a decade serving as a firefighter, paramedic. That experience really reflects his strong service mindset, his professionalism, and his commitment to helping others. And it is my pleasure to introduce Stephen.
Thank you, Danya, for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. So my goal today is basically to dive a little deeper into the market and kind of explain, of course, the tale of the three markets, meaning we have a luxury segment, there's a single family home segment, and of course, townhome condos. Now, that could even be broken down more depending on the pricing, correct? So let's get into it. So the luxury market, first of all, it operates completely independently. It's basically driven by cash buyers and global demand. it's really not affected by interest rates. Now, single-family homes are the most stable segment. Why? They're supported by limited land, strong end user demand, and prices remain steady with moderate growth. Now, buyers still have negotiating power, but remember this, well-priced homes continue to sell. As we move into the townhomes and condos, this is the most challenging segment. In fact, there's a lot higher inventory and way more buyer leverage. So, what's the issue there? Rising HOA costs and financing restrictions, of course, slowing demand and leading to longer days in the market. So, we're going to go to slide 12 and really dive deep into statistics of the single family home. Here we go. So basically, inventory is increasing. Actually, we have over 5,000 homes on the market right now. Supply sits at 6.2 months. Basically, single, we are in a buyer's market. Median sale, 685, and of course, trending upward as a normal market. Now, buyers are negotiating more. In fact, with homes selling 95% of the list price. Why? Why cash remains, of course, strong, 28.4% of the transactions are all cash. Now, before we move into the townhomes and condos, you have to understand the single-family home market is stabilizing and prices are holding. Inventory is still rising and buyers are gaining slight negotiating power, but demand remains strong. Now, as we move into the statistics for the townhomes and condos, it's really completely different. We have over 12,000 units in Miami-Dade available right now. And unbelievably so, the inventory has expanded to 13.4 months, indicating a very heavy buyer's market. Median sale, of course, declined down to $410,000, and sellers are receiving about 93% of asking price, showing increased negotiations. Cash purchases are rising, especially in condo, now at 55.3%. So you have to remember that the townhome and condo market has more inventory, softer pricing, stronger buyer leverage, especially with cash buyers. As we move on to the next slide, we're going to go through some steps to actually get started. So the first thing you have to do is determine your budget, right? Review your income, monthly expenses, your savings, and establish a comfortable price range. And remember, this price range is just not your mortgage. It has to include taxes, insurance, and maintaining costs on this property. Then, of course, you get pre-qualified. Define your target areas. Get creative. Make a wish list based on lifestyle. How do you commute? What schools, amenities, and long-term value, of course. So you have to identify must-haves and nice-to-haves. Basically, you should clearly separate what absolutely need from a home purchase or what you would like to have. For example, must-have. How many bedrooms? The location. How many parking spaces? If one of those is off, it's a no deal. Now, nice-to-haves. I want a pool. I want a view. I want everything upgraded. Listen, if you don't get every one of those, you could still purchase a home and deal with that later. So most importantly, start touring homes and have fun. Begin viewing properties that match your criteria, compare options, and gain a feel for the market, and move toward your ideal home. And with that being said, I kind of want to end with a note. And this is basically just a recap of the housing market as we see it currently. The market is creating amazing opportunities for buyers, period. We are seeing more inventory come to the market, which gives buyers more options and less competition. At the same time, rates and payments are becoming more manageable. Homes are also staying longer on the market, which means buyers have more time to make educated decisions and negotiate with time. Overall, guys, we are shifting into a more balanced market that is increasingly favors buyers. Well, I hope this cleared some misconceptions, and I'm looking forward to the questions at the end of the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all that information. I think that we all, I can tell you that I think it's incredible to hear like, how we're moving forward, especially post-pandemic, the interest rates, how they're affecting us, and how the market is shifting. So it's good news, I think, overall. We do.
100%. It's exciting.
Yes, no, I think it is, and I think us having this program, I think that's what we're trying to demystify a lot of the confusion, right? And also provide our members with these resources. So now we're going to get into the Meet the Experts, which is a Q&A session that we're going to have with some of our experts from the credit union. We have our home loan sales manager, Dania's on the call. Like you met her earlier, we have Denise Tallboy. I want to welcome the vice president of the Keys Company. And as well as you have just heard from Stephen Mortonfee, which is, again, our partner agent. So please feel free to submit some questions. I'm going to go ahead at the Q&A and see of some members thanking us for this presentation. But let's go ahead and get started. So I have one here. It says, what are the eligibility requirements to participate in our program, in the EdFed Homebuyer Concierge Program? So what do they need to have as members? What are the requirements? I'm not sure if you guys are unmuted, but I want to make sure everybody's unmuted, our experts, in order to be able to respond.
Yes. Thank you, Cindy. Sorry about that. So there really is no requirement. Whether you are an EdFed member or not, there is no minimum requirement to participate in the Homebuyer Concierge Program. This is a program available for anyone who is looking to purchase a home in the state of Florida, because we do lend anywhere in the state of Florida. So we'd love to have you give us a call. We're going to include our phone numbers and emails and all the information at the end of the slide. So whenever you are ready, please feel free to reach out to us. There is no requirement or anything like that that we need in order to participate in the program.
Thank you, Dana. And I also have another one asking about how would they qualify for the up to $1,000 cashback reward at closing?
So the $1,000 cashback rewards is a percentage of the loan amount. And what it is the maximum that we give as cashback is $1,000. But we take the loan amount times 0.25%. That is the rebate that we give, being a maximum of $1,000.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So that was the other part of that question. I believe it was like the 25% rebate of the buyer's agent commission. Can you explain how it's calculated and applied to that?
Tanya, you want me to take that?
Yes, Denise, I was going to
Okay.
mention. Thank you.
What's critical first is to get pre-approved with Tanya's team, just so you know what your buying power is. The 25% is calculated with the purchase price and the commission percentage. So, for example, if you have a $450,000 purchase, and the commission could be anywhere between 2 and 3% on the buyer side, that rebate can be anywhere between $1,800 and $2,700, which would show up at closing. That means that you as a buyer would bring less money to closing. It's significant savings for you. The only thing that we require is obviously we would hear from Danya's team once you're approved. Then we would assign the right agent. Steve covers a very large area, and we do have Spanish-speaking agents. Full disclosure, his wife is wonderful, and she's a Spanish-speaking agent. So we have very select realtors that participate in the program to make sure that you are getting the best service possible. And if I may add, we also assist with homeowners insurance and getting quotes on that final property or two, so you know exactly what the full picture is on what purchasing a home will look like.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. We do have some questions that I will share. They have been answered by our staff on our team who's helping us today, but I think that it's important that we reiterate these notes. So we had some questions about limitations to South Florida, and the reality is that EdFed, can help through the entire state of Florida, not just South Florida. What is the interest rates being offered? Again, our mortgage interest rates are determined based on each member's individual financial profile. The factors are credit history, loan amount, property type, occupancy, and overall loan structure. All of that can influence, the rates. But again, all of our interest rates are online. I also am going to keep looking here because I know there's other questions. Think you do finance Lennar homes? Yes, we do finance homes built by Lennar as long as the property is located within the state of Florida. We offer mortgage programs that can support financing for these transactions. We also have some questions about the VA home loans or work with veterans to purchase a home. At this time, we just want to make sure that everybody knows we unfortunately do not offer the VA loan programs. However, we'd still be happy to explore other opportunities. So that's the important thing I would say is that, it's important for you all to reach out to our team, and we can go through the individual circumstance, the situation to see how else we can help you. Let me see if I have some more questions here. How is the dedicated realtor selected and matched to the member's needs? And I don't know if you want to jump in there, Denise or Stephen, but how would we select a specific realtor to work with our member?
So first, it's my team that has the discussion with the potential buyer. We want to know not only preferences, locations. Kai's has 5,000 realtors. There's a handful of realtors that have been selected for this program. They have to have a minimum of 5 years full-time real estate experience with a certain minimum number of closed transactions, as they have to prove, that they can actually, help and provide extra services to our realtors. So we do hand select the realtor, but it's really based on what the individual need is of the buyer. And it's a match.
Wonderful. And you did mention that you have Spanish speaking realtors, so I think that also would go into play, the
For
location, the
sure.
area of where they're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. And we
Amazing.
are also national. We're also in the state of Florida that we just had a buyer looking in Central Florida that we were able to give him a dedicated realtor. So yeah, we can do any part of Florida.
Thank you, Denise. I am going to take some other questions that I see here that our staff has answered. It says, if everything is in place, what is the approximate time to close? If everything is in place for the loan process and it's smooth, our estimated closing time is approximately 30 days, which is wonderful. I think it's very timely. I have another question here from a member. Can you apply for the program if you're selling your current home and using a portion of the proceeds to purchase this new home? I think this is going to be a question that we get a lot
Yeah.
because a lot of people are in this situation. And I did see an answer here. It says, yes, you may apply for the program if you're selling your current home and plan to use a portion of your proceeds towards the purchase of a new home. But it says, please note that the participation in the program would require working with one of our preferred realtors for that purchase. So again, you can use that portion. And then again, Denise and Stephen can clarify. But again, it's working with the Home Buyers Concierge Program to get that purchase done, correct?
And if I may add, the rebate that we provide for when we select the realtor gets applied to both. So you get the 25% on the listing side and the 25% on the buyer side. So it's a huge savings that helps you with the commission as well as the closing costs.
Wonderful. All right, here I have another question. It says, what does the mortgage pre-approval process involve and how long does it typically take to get pre-approved?
So
If Dania, sorry, go ahead.
that's all right. So the process is fairly simple. You can get pre-approved by either visiting our home loans department located here in Kendall, or you can give us a call and we can get you pre-approved over the telephone. It's a very simple process. We take all your information either in person or by phone. So usually done with it that same day. We sit with one of our loan officers and we do that for you right away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dania. We did have a question from a member asking about programs for first-time home buyers. And again, thank you so much for these questions. Yes, we do offer programs designated specifically to assess first-time home buyers. And again, I'm going to share our contact information with our team at the end of the workshop. But yes, we do offer those type of programs. Let me see what else I have here. I have another question. What makes EdFed's Homebuyer Concierge Program different from other home buying assistance programs? Dania, if you want to take that one.
Yes. So with that, as Denise was stating, we match you with a realtor that's going to work with you, that is an expert in the area that you are looking for. Plus, not all, home buyer concierge programs gives you that rebate back. I mean, this is a great savings, and this can amount to, like Denise was mentioning, thousands of dollars in savings. So, again, not only do you have savings monetarily, our process is very quick. As one of the questions were, how long is it going to take to closing? On average, our loans close within 30 days. So you've got a lot of benefit coming to us at EdFed.
And if I may add to that, it's not only, all the incredible benefits that Dania mentioned, but when real estate is complicated. I mean, that's the way our lives are. But if you have a constant communication between the mortgage professional and the realtor, it makes things so much easier to get to closing, so they can communicate and make sure that address any issues that arise along the way. That's the critical part, I think, of this program.
I could not agree more. I think that's the part of it is demystifying the entire process, the terminology, taking a little bit of that stress out of that journey for our membership. I think that's the biggest thing for me that I see is that you have both professional and experienced professionals on both sides that are going to guide that process, making it a lot smoother. When you were talking about the closing process and our cashback offer, some of the members want to know when would they actually receive that cashback?
So that cashback is shown as a credit in their closing. So that's actually right at closing. It shows the dollar amount is there. So right at closing, they see it immediately as on there.
Okay, and I have another question about out-of-pocket costs. So in that closing process, what type of out-of-pocket costs should I expect even with the reduced fees? Like, so what are the things that they need to consider also paying for, even with the reduction and the credits?
Steve, do you want to address it on the realtor side?
What was the question again? I'm
The
sorry.
out of pocket. What out of pocket costs
Costs.
should they expect?
Expect.
So of course, so you are going to, if you're anywhere with an HOA or a condo association, you're going to have to spend money for the application process. You're going to have to spend money for the inspection. And most lenders are going to ask for a credit card to order the appraisal. Other than that, all monies are typically due at the very end at the closing date. Now, you will need to have some escrow deposit monies depending on the offer, which range anywhere from 5 to 15,000, depending on the purchase price. Now, those monies are typically given 3 days after the effective date and then 10 days after the effective date for your second deposit. Those monies just sit in an escrow deposit account until closing, and then of course become your down payment, closing cost, or whatever have you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I do see some new questions here. How long after buying a home can we refinance? I know this is not a refinance present a webinar, but that is something that we do offer. So maybe Dani, if you can answer that.
So on average, we look anywhere between 6 to 12 months from the time of purchase. Now, there are some exceptions, but we see those, we can have that discussion one-on-one if you'd like. If you have a particular scenario in mind, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll help you clarify that. But on average, anywhere between 6 to 12 months from the time of purchase.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dania. And I have one last question because I believe all of them are being answered with what we're talking about with the other questions. But we have a question in regards to, what would you recommend? So we did have a little bit about our program helping with selling and buying. But I have somebody asking what would be recommended before buying our new home? Should we sell the current one first? And I guess, Dania, you can address this, but it depends if that person wants to keep that home, but you can address that in terms of working with our program.
Right. So every scenario is a little bit different. If you do qualify with that home if you're going to keep it as a second home or you're going to keep it as a rental, if you qualify with absorbing that existing payment plus your new payment, you don't have to sell the home. Now, if you do need the equity in that home to put for a down payment on the other home, definitely then you do need to sell that property because you're using those proceeds to put for the down payment of your new home. But not necessarily do you have to sell it or rent it. It is really on a case-by-case basis. So we suggest for your scenario, you can reach to us directly, explain to us a little bit about, what you're looking for, and we'd be more than happy to help you with that.
Thank you, Dania. And I have this question. I'm gonna forward that one to Stephen. I know you were talking about the fees, the out-of-pocket costs. Somebody's asking about attorney fees. Are attorney fees in the closing costs?
So, as a buyer here in the state of Florida, you could actually choose which title company you would like to use for closing, and or if you would like to use an attorney. Attorney's fees, of course, vary. They typically are a little higher than title company fees, anywhere between 800 and 2,000, while just regular title company fees are usually between 6 and 900 max.
Right. And I would add to that, you do have a right to choose the title company that you'd like to use. So you don't have to necessarily use any of our approved title companies that we use here at EdFed. If you have a title company you want to use or an attorney, you can also use that for your transaction here.
Wonderful. Oh my God, we had a wonderful webinar. I want to thank you all today for all of our speakers and presenters. I want to thank you all the members for joining us today and for those wonderful questions. I do want to go ahead and share our contact information. Here is the contact for our EdFed Home Loans department. You can reach them by phone at 305-270-5256. In person at our Kendall branch at the Home Loans Department. We have Dania's email address, which is dania.nunez@edfed.org. And then we also have Denise Talboy, who is our Keys Company contact. Her phone number is 954-600-4551, and her email address is denisetalboy@keys.com. I want to thank you all. Again, this was really great. We're super excited about this program and we hope you take advantage of it. As members, we really try to offer you the best products and services, really trying to, help you as much as possible in reaching those financial dreams. And owning a home is one of those big dreams for us. So I just want to thank you all again for being here and spending some of your Saturday with us. As always, we will record this webinar. We have recorded the webinar and we'll post it on our EdFed YouTube page, which is EdFed TV. All of our webinars are there, and not for nothing, but I think it's really great information. This one is phenomenal as well. Please follow us on our social media platforms. Our handle is at EdFedCU. We post there about all the promotions that we're doing. We also post our webinars that are coming soon. So please feel free to follow us there, and then to follow us again on our EdFed TV and watch our recordings. Thank you all so much for all of you for participating today and for all of your wonderful questions. Again, this will be on the EdFed TV within the next week. But thank you again and wishing you all a wonderful Saturday. Thank you so much.